Hi everybody, my name is Kara Brown. I am an urban fantasy author, and I'm here today to talk about events that have happened in the last 7 days that I think that are either interesting, affect publishing, or could affect you as an author, or just things that I thought were kind of intriguing in general. So let's go ahead and start with this. The first thing I wanted to cover has to do with an influencer with over 2 million followers who could not sell 36 shirts, as you can see right here. If you have listened to any of my videos or heard me comment on just about anything, I've always said that playing the number games does not always generate sales. You can have millions on thousands or whatever amount of followers following you on either platform or all platforms, but if you do not have a good relationship with your followers, you will not generate sales. However, in the situation involving this particular influencer, one of the big components was that she did not have a very good marketing plan. Some specialists looked in, kind of saw how she went about things, and they said that there was no prep, no plan, no nothing. Again, that's their words, not mine. I'm just kind of reporting this to you. And I would like to definitely drive home the importance of having a marketing plan, knowing who your target audience is, where you can find them, what do they want, what are their other interests, kind of pinpointing who it is that you're trying to sell your product to is really detrimental in situations like this. So while I'm not going to assume what was or wasn't done, I can take a guesstimate and say that some of those steps were left out. Sometimes I think it's too easy to think that as an influencer that you can basically throw something up on Etsy or Redbubble or whatever and then it will just sell like hotcakes, and that's not always the case, especially when you have a following that is kind of questioning your own validity or your own transparency. In publishing, we usually tell people, it's like, your readers are a lot smarter than you think they are. Same thing goes for your followers. If you think they're just going to buy something because they follow you, no, it doesn't really work that way. So I do feel for this influencer. I know I'm not quite sure what she wanted to do with the shirts, but I mean, obviously that's a pretty big blow. So heart goes out to them for that. So somebody said that this was the first big pop for influencers, and that we're looking at the downfall of the influence. I don't really think that's it. I think that just in this situation, this just wasn't prepared very well. I'm not going to believe in the fall of the influencer until I see more examples. Hopefully that won't be a thing. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So the next thing, okay, so first off, this website is actually really good, and it does not like my ad blocker. I understand. Pause on this site, thank you. Okay, so this website is actually really good if you guys want to keep up on publishing news without listening to me every 7 days. It's called What's New in Publishing. It's got some good stuff in here. I would really recommend it. Now, this article has to do with the long-term, obviously, revenue opportunities for publishers. And there was like a study that was done, and there are a lot of publishers that believe that YouTube is going to be generating the most meaningful long-term revenue that they're going to be making. And if you think about YouTube in general, we are looking at things like, the ads, and then of course like the brand loyalty. We're looking at the follower engagement, and there are lots of opportunities in YouTube to actually form good relationships between you and your viewer or your fan, or however you want to describe your target audience. And there's definitely a lot of chances to have meaningful interactions with them, but you can pretty much do that anywhere. And you see that there's this graph here. I just want to make it clear that this graph is really just kind of like the survey that was done with businesses. There wasn't actually a survey done with like the customer base, if that makes any sense. So I would, while this is kind of intriguing to see that this is where publishers think that they are going to be making most of their revenue at, I don't really have any of the hardcore marketing data that they're using to kind of like justify why they think it's going to be this way. Having said that, though, I definitely can agree with a lot of these. Trying to think, I was having a word here. A lot of this is really valid. I can tell you for a fact, last month I actually did like a Twitter campaign, and I did not get any sales at all, so I can definitely see how they're trying to say that they're not going to get any revenue from the Twitter. I have my own data to justify that. I think it's very interesting that the Google AMP and the Facebook are pretty much the same, but of course they kind of function on the same capacity, so that makes sense. I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out in the coming months, if this is going to be a true estimate. Well, coming months, this is probably going to be like the coming 5 years, to kind of see what's going to go on, because obviously I'm not the only one who's looking at this data. I'm sure that there's a rival company who will be looking at this and probably trying to see how they can play into the market as well, but again, assuming. Next article has to do with banned books. So I went to go and check out to see if Casey Decker had any updates in regards to her situation with the banned book. Unfortunately, there was none. But given that, I became very curious about the whole situation with the banned books. Like, when did it start? What is the justification for it? And I went and did some digging. I found this website. It's called 9 Banned Books, and as you can tell, it's about banned books. And they did this article. Again, I don't know what their citations are. I'm actually going to go check and see if there's citations. There are no citations, so I'm not sure what their citations are, so take this with a grain of salt. But according to this article, back in 2010, well, actually prior to 2010, when Amazon kind of first did the whole Kindle release thing, they were kind of like, bring us your books and we will publish them, right? And then in 2010, that's when we started to see that they did the one ban, and this was due to public pressure. So basically they got pressure from the public to take this book down. And I'm not going to say what the title of the book is. I'm just going to highlight it on the screen, read it at your own disclosure, because I do not want my video taken down. But they took this book down due to the amount of reports that were coming. And then as of 2016, we started to see a lot more books get taken down for a variety of reasons. And basically, when you control the content that is accessible to the public, you then become a publisher. While that's not the defined criteria, that's usually one of the big factors that qualifies a publisher. So that's when they started taking that route. And naturally, they wanted to take down, controversial publications, that basically either went against what was already established or was doing a very extreme point of view, maybe bordering on fascism, so on and so forth. So that's when we started to see a lot more books getting banned, and now they're kind of enforcing that. So if you're writing a topic that could be considered along the lines of these things that are on this page right here, you do not be surprised if you find that your works are removed by Amazon and they give you like a very stern letter. Another thing that's on this page is they actually have a very long and extensive list of multiple books that have been banned by Amazon. The justification is not listed here, but these are pretty much all the works that were removed for one reason or another, mostly bordering on violating terms and agreements that were at the website. So this website requires a story from me. Obviously, we all know who Goodreads is. I was in Barnes & Noble the other day, and I was actually really interested because I walked by a bookshelf, and the bookshelf was full of nothing but books that were originally on Wattpad. I was just so stunned at this. I wish I had taken a picture so I could show it to you. But it was just, huge bookshelf, tons of Wattpad books, and I was just, on one hand, I was just kind of, I was really surprised. Because I know that some people look at Wattpad books the way that people sometimes look at self-published authors, self-published, Wattpad books, right? So to see a whole shelf full of this, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And I went to go to the website because I was going to show you guys the website. I can't find any of them on there. Because I wanted to show you that basically it is possible if you are doing really well on Wattpad that you can make it into the traditional bookstore. But whether it be an ID10T error or it be just the weird navigation system that Barnes & Noble has on their website, I couldn't find these books. But what I did as the runner-up for this is I went and found this list that somebody was very kind to make in regards to all the books that were published originally on Wattpad, did really well, and they became published themselves. Now, when I say published, I'm not talking about self-published. I just mean they got traditionally published. And here you'll see a list of 86 books, which it's pretty awesome. I think that's great. Now there is another list I found where it was basically all the books in general. That was really good too. There was over 600 books, and some of them were self-published, some of them were traditionally published. It was just the whole congregation of them. And I guess I'm just really engaged with this because I'm really happy that Wattpad is moving in this direction. I actually really like Wattpad as a platform, a writing platform, because it gives you the ability to interact with your reader in a way that you can't get on Kindle or on your website or anything else. They can highlight something and they can comment about, oh, I love this, or this doesn't work for me, or I think this is not appropriate. And that's very meaningful feedback, and that's also very good reader engagement. Because if they come in and say, that they like something, it's always good to know that people like something. Just as much as it is to know that you need to work on some of the things that are happening in your manuscript, knowing what works is also good. I've talked about this before. And I always hope one day that Kindle will probably one day move into that direction, but it's not set up that way. Anyway, enough about me and gushing about Wattpad, not sponsored, by the way. I do want to talk about my last article. And I don't know how to feel about this article. I would definitely like to hear what you guys have to say on this, and I'll try to explain where my uncertainty is coming from. So J.K. Rowling is releasing 4 new books, right? these 4 new books are, if you know anything about Harry Potter, these are the 4 main textbooks that you find in Harry Potter. History of magic, and magical creatures and potions and divination. And these are, like I said, these are all the textbooks. This is all the supplemental material that you can find in Harry Potter. And on one hand, as a fan, I think that this is great because I have read the Harry Potter books. I do like them. I do enjoy them. They are very, I get really sucked into them very easily. Anyway, and you can buy them obviously for $3 in the US. And they're all digital, they're all on Kindle, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, I'm while I do appreciate that she was able to sit down and make this supplemental material, part of me is if you're just so invested in this world and everything else that's going on, why not just make another book in that universe? Why not, maybe do a novella or come out with something else? J.K. Rowling has really good writing style. It's very easy to get lost into these worlds that she creates for us, but I don't know how I feel about this. I would rather she would create another story than supplemental material, and I guess that's where I would like your input. What are your thoughts on when authors make a really epic story and then they spend the rest of their career tweeting about things, making supplemental materials? Do you think that that's, obviously from a marketing standpoint and from business, that makes a lot of sense because you're giving more for the readers to digest when it comes to the universe that you've created. That's really awesome, but I still, why not just keep writing? Why not keep making stories? So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that JK should continue to expand on this universe and share more of this with us? Or do you think that she should just make another book in the Harry Potter series following somebody else? Not that she's going to see this. But yeah, really curious about your thoughts. Even if you aren't a Harry Potter fan, just the situation in general, maybe share your thoughts on that. I'd love to have a meaningful conversation in regards to this. And that is pretty much it. I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you found that this was engaging. If you would like me to cover different content that you think is more important for you as a writer or an author, please feel free to let me know. I'm definitely open to suggestions, and I would be more than happy to go and research topics that you are interested in. Anyway, that's Kara. I hope you guys have a good week, and I will see you on Friday.